Good day, everyone. So, this case study is about the quality management of crop GenBank knowledge base. So, when we say GenBanks, these are mga amo ni siya tawag sa mga collection of seeds or plants nga kanang kuan bitaw gina-collect siya para mahimo siyang sample sa kung naa bitaw, for example mga experiment kintahay. So, there is increasing pressure to define and use criteria of quality for commercial as well as research processes and procedures. The underlying concepts have been applied in many areas of modern society to control risk and provide a mechanism for quality improvement. Manufacturing, food production, pharmaceutical industry, environmental controls, and information technology are just some of the areas that rely on the application of quality standards and systems to support business. However, the biological or agricultural sciences have been slow to recognize the benefits of this system, and there have been limited quality management systems or QMS application in this field. So a QMS can be defined as a set of policies, processes, and procedures required to plan and execute the activities of any GenBank. Implementing a QMS within any organization needs to be top management decision. So ang QMS is mao ni siya magdala sa organization nga mas mulambo ang usa ka organization and ma-meet ang goals. So an adequate and suitable QMS should have the capacity for improving the quality of operations by first demonstrating control of critical risk. So improving control of proper functioning of equipment and qualities of supply. Second, improving quality control of processes. Formalizing training of staff and the demonstration of staff competence, supporting best practice implementation, compliance with any audit procedures. So that was the adequate and suitable QMS to have the capacity for improving. So the implementation of an appropriate QMS is particularly relevant for GenBanks, which are constantly striving for the highest standards in order to conserve and maintain crop genetic resources. Okay, so these are the options for QMS of GenBanks. Options ranging from a minimum documentation for a quality system through to formal recognition through accreditation are all possible levels of implementation of a QMS suitable for GenBank management. So first is the certification. Product certification refers to the processes intended to determine if a product meets minimum standards, similar to quality assurance, which is usually related to administrative operational procedures. The second is the accreditation. The accreditation process ensures that certification practices of competency, authority, or credibility are acceptable, typically meaning that they are competent to test and certify third parties, behave ethically, and employ suitable quality assurance. It is usually related to technical operational procedures. So the third one is the documentation of processes. Each GenBank should define, document, and adapt the processes employed to reach the appropriate minimum standards for routine procedures, taking into account specific risk and local conditions. Regular revisions and necessary updates may be necessary to this minimum specification. So the fourth one is the designer solution. A combination of QMS approaches can also be a practical solution for GenBanks. ISO certification or accreditation can be used for particularly critical or high-risk activities or procedures of the gene bank, together with documentation of processes for routine, less risky operation. Okay, so whichever option is selected, the best value is obtained by balancing the use of resources on the one hand and perfection of the other.
Implementation of a QMS of gene banks. So steps in the selection and implementation process for a QMS are: evaluate the external factors, seek information regarding external policies and requirements that will impact on gene bank. Evaluate the internal factors, assess the present system and resources available for implementation. QMS model to apply. Gather information and determine the complexity and the amount of work required for different models and how this will be applied for the crop. Decide on QMS options. Based on the above information, determine which model best fits the needs. Formulate an implementation plan. The overall implementation plan should include objectives, milestones, and responsibilities for all the key areas of a QMS. So the overall system design, quality, procedure, production, recommended best practices for QMS of gene banks. So the main recommendations for application of a QMS were: first is, any gene bank should have a good, reliable QMS in place, properly documenting all the procedures as a minimal baseline. Second is relevant, adequate certification or accreditation bodies should be approached to consider a formal quality assurance ISO for gene banks. And last is certification or documented procedures alone are not the best technical choices for gene banks with critical and risky areas.